Hello everybody, this is Dan Miller for Bluegrass Unlimited magazine, and we're continuing our series on building your Scruggs vocabulary for 5-string banjo. We talked about G, we talked about C, and today we're going to move on and talk about what you can play over the D chord. Okay, we're in the key of G. We're assuming we're in the key of G here, and we talked about what are common G phrases in the key of G, what are common C phrases, and now we're going to talk about some common D phrases and how to approach them, how to look at those. And like we did last time, or 2 times ago, where we talked about how to fit melody in with your rolls around the various chords that we're looking at. Now, I said over the G chord and the C chord that the notes you're predominantly going to use come out of the major pentatonic scale. First default is just your chord. Hold your chord, in D chord. You can just hold your D chord and play a roll out of that chord. Same with C. G's open, so you can do the same thing with G. After that, the 2nd scale degree and the 6th scale degree can be added to the 1st, 3rd, and 5th scale degrees. 1st, 3rd, and 5th scale degrees make up your chord. And to make the major pentatonic scale, you add the 2nd and 6th scale degrees. Now the cool thing about G, the cool thing about the key of D, or playing over a D chord, is you don't have to hold that 4-note form like that, because this note is a D, this note is a D, so this is a full D chord, but also just that is a D chord. So you've got a lot of flexibility when you're playing over D. A lot of rolls, they'll just hold this A note down and then hit the D notes, or hit this D on the high string and hit the drone top string and roll like that. And a lot of times in the key of G, what you're playing over the D chord is maybe one measure at the end for some simple 1-4-5 songs. They go G, C, maybe back to G, and then to D right before going back to G at the end. So a lot of times that D chord is just one measure, and so it's real quick. All of our licks we're going to look at, all our phrases we're going to look at are going to be two bar phrases. But again, you can shorten them to 1 bar. Just take one of the bars out, and if those fit with your melody, that would be fine to do. Because some of our G licks, the D note is in the G chord, some of our G licks that we worked on can be used over D or something very similar. Because, licks like here, when I'm going, that's a D chord, that's a D note, that's a D note on the top, and I'm rolling over 2 D notes and that open G. So when that hammer-on can be used in D because it's hammering on a D note. This pull-off from 3-2 can be used over the D chord because it's pulling off to an A, which is a D chord note. So some of those phrases that we worked in G are some that are slightly modified from the ones we worked in G. You'll find will fit over D as well. So just take a look at that. Okay, so I talked about major pentatonic in G and C, and now for D. So your D chord is here. It's going to be the 1, of course, is D. The 3 is the F sharp, which is there. Those two, when you're holding full D chord, it's there. And then the A note, D, F sharp, A. That's your 1, 3, 5. Now, to make the major pentatonic, you can add your E, right? And now the other note you can add is a B note, which is a 6th scale degree, which is here, there, or could be the open B string. So you got a B here on the G string and the B open there. That's the other note you can add. So it's adding the E and the B to make the major pentatonic in the key of D. So you'll find that most licks that you're going to play in the key over the D chord are going to be again, just like we did over the G chord and then over the C chord, they're going to be notes from that major pentatonic scale. So if you look at that scale, find those notes over D, you'll have an advantage if you're playing over G, C, and D in the key of G. You'll have an advantage if you think about playing major pentatonic notes of the key of G over the G chord, major pentatonic notes of the key of C over the C chord, and major pentatonic notes of the key of D over the D chord. If you want to think in terms of scales and not just arpeggios and rolls, I think that's a nice way to look at it. So let's go ahead and start to look. I have 8 D phrases, and of course there's lots and lots and lots more, but I just picked 8 different ones to show you here, and then next week we'll do some other stuff and maybe look at how the D chord lays out in some standard bluegrass songs in the key of G and how those notes fit over the D chord, some of these phrases we're looking at. Okay? Okay, here's the first lick. Okay? So we're going to start out hitting the A note. It's in the D chord. And then a forward roll. And I'm going to hit the drone G and the open D, high D. That's just a forward roll. Now for the second measure, I'll grab this F sharp note here. So the first measure. Okay, so I'm just playing, except for the G drone, I'm just playing notes out of the D chord in that lick. Okay, and again, we have tablature for this. It's going to be, if you're just watching this on YouTube, go to bluegrassunlimited.com, go to the lessons page, find this lesson, and you can download a PDF of the tablature for all these licks. So again, the first one, forward roll. We're going to start on the A note. Okay. Lick number 2 is going to be similar. I'm just changing my roll to sort of a forward then backward roll. Like that. All right. Again, just playing out of the chord, holding these 2 notes, playing the open D, not playing the second string or the B string, and just rolling forward and backward over those 2 measures and alternating that first quarter note. First is an A note, second measure, it's a D note. Very straightforward, very simple. Alright, lick number 3, I'm going to just play the same notes. I'm playing D chord notes, but I'm playing the open high D string. I'm fretting the A note here, the F sharp note here, and I'm just rolling. Okay? Very straightforward. Again, you don't have to hold down the whole D chord. You can just hold 1 or 2 notes and then use your rolls. Use forward, backward roll, alternating roll, all those kind of things. Very straightforward. The first 3 licks. Let's move on. So lick number 4. Every lick, the first 3 licks we just played notes. These notes, A, F sharp, and open D, and then use the G drone. This next lick, number 4, I'm going to fret a D note here at the on the B string, fret the A, and I'm going to go. Okay, it's a little alternating roll with a walk down, and you can walk up to. Kind of play the roll backwards. A lot of times when you're playing backup, it's nice to play over the D chord and then just walk up and down. So you're just walking from the 3rd note of the scale, F sharp, which is in the chord, through the E note, the 2nd note of the scale, and then to D, the root of the scale, or from D to E to F sharp. So you could just do any kind of roll and use that walk up or walk down, and that's just kind of a cool thing to add in. And it fits real nice in certain places, like I said, especially sometimes if you're doing backup, it acts like a bass run, either ascending or descending. So that's lick number 4. Lick number 5 looks like it's something you could use over G, and you could. It goes like this. I ended on a G note because that would be the next measure. The D lick would be begs to land back on the G chord, okay? But if you analyze that, D note, 2 D notes, hammer to a D, and then play the D. So that's, again, just rolling across 2 D notes in the drone G. So that's adding that B note again in the pentatonic scale of D, and then that pull off is landing on the A note, which is in the D chord, and then you're hitting the D note at the end. So although you could use that lick over a G chord, it also fits very well over a D chord. Okay, that's one of those instances. Things like some of those things we did over G would also be a quick lick over D. And that's why if you go from G to D to G at the end of a song, it just sounds like a lot of G stuff, and because it fits over D perfectly, because you've got these D notes ringing. These G notes are ringing, so it works over the D chord. Okay. All right, lick number 6 we've seen before because we played it over the D chord in Blue Ridge Cabin Home, but it's such a cool D lick, I thought we need to look at it over the D, in the D phrase section of the videos. So again, it's a JD Crowe thing, and JD played so many cool licks over the D chord. If you analyze his playing, he did so many cool things over the D chord, and this is one of them. And here it is. Okay, you can see it on the tablature, you'd see it in the tab for Blue Ridge Cabin Home, but that's the way it is. And it's cool because it just, you know, you got your forward roll, you got your forward backward roll. He's not playing any notes that are outside of the chord. And you've got different rolls, various rolls that you could use over any of those for your common D phrases. But JD, he mixed all that up so much that it just sounded unique in that it wasn't just sticking with a forward roll, not just sticking with a backward roll, not just sticking with the alternating roll. He mixed it up so much it just had a cool sound. So that's lick number 6. All right, lick number 7 is going to be another JD Crowe lick, and he plays something like this. I think I got it close enough. On the second break of Blue Ridge Cabin Home on the Bluegrass Album Band album. So he starts it similar, except there he goes, and slides down. When he hits that F sharp note, he slides it down to E. And then he goes, and then to the G, okay? So, and then hit the G note. So again, if we analyze that, he's doing just D chord notes, and then he's sliding down to that E, which is in the major pentatonic, playing D and E again, kind of a single string thing, and then playing a G, and then pulling off. G again, and then, or you could go, you could pull that note from E to D off, or just, again, do a single string thing. So it's, and again, the last G note leads to the G chord. So that's kind of a cool thing, and again, you're using that 3-2 pull off. You're sliding from the third scale degree, the second scale degree, still major pentatonic. Root to second scale degree, still major pentatonic. Now that G is not in the major pentatonic, but then he's pulling off to the A, which is in the chord. So, other than that G note that's added in there, which just passes by quickly. Everything's out of major pentatonic in that lick from JD Crowe, and that's a cool one to put in your bag of tricks for playing over a D chord. The last D lick we'll look at this time is more of kind of a backup lick. We're going to use the whole 4-note D chord here, and we're going to play that B note. We haven't done much with that B note yet, and like I said, it's a 6th scale degree of the key of D, so it fits and is one of the notes of a major pentatonic. So we're going to add that in. It's going to go like this. Okay, so I'm using all of those notes, the D, and I'm adding that B note, again, from the major pentatonic scale in the key of D. So that's 8 banjo licks to look at for the key of D over the D chord. Take a look at those, practice them. Again, freestyle them. You know, just play repetitiously over the key of D and change rolls. Hold down these 2 notes. Hold down just this one note. Hold down these 2 notes. Change up your roll, and you should be able to come up with a lot of cool stuff to play over D chord in the Scruggs style. Alright, next time we'll look at the key of D a little bit more, and for now this is Dan Miller for Bluegrass Unlimited magazine.